Brought to you by DK Audio. DK Audio presents Stephen Hawking, Genius at Work, written and read by Roger Highfield. This audiobook comes with an accompanying PDF of images. The image of Stephen Hawking in his motorized wheelchair, with head slightly to one side and hands crossed over the controls, caught the public imagination as a symbol of the triumph of mind over matter. As with the Delphic oracle of ancient Greece, physical impairment seemed compensated by almost supernatural gifts, which allowed his mind to roam the universe freely, upon occasion enigmatically revealing some of its secrets. Of course, such a romanticized image can represent but a partial truth. Those who knew Stephen would clearly appreciate the dominating presence of a real human being with an enormous zest for life, great humor, and tremendous determination, yet with normal human weaknesses. Despite his terrible physical circumstance, he almost always remained positive about life. He enjoyed his work, the company of other scientists, the arts, the fruits of his fame, his travels. He took great pleasure in children, sometimes entertaining them by swiveling around in his motorized wheelchair. Social issues concerned him. He promoted scientific understanding. He could be generous and was often very witty. On occasion, he could display something of the arrogance that is not uncommon among physicists working at the cutting edge, and he had an autocratic streak. Yet he could also show true humility that is the mark of greatness. This book opens an unusual window on many aspects of his remarkable life by discussing the objects in his Cambridge office that were acquired by the nation for the Science Museum Group. From the books and papers to his awards and pictures, every item has a story to tell. But here I would like to focus on the narrative that is perhaps the most difficult to describe through the objects alone. I should like to indicate his greatly impressive, sometimes revolutionary contributions to physics, and why Stephen Hawking was extremely highly regarded by his scientific peers. Hawking had been diagnosed shortly after his 21st birthday as suffering from an unspecified incurable illness, which was then identified as motor neuron disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. Soon afterwards, rather than succumbing to depression, as others might have done, he began to set his sights on some of the most fundamental questions concerning the physical nature of the universe. In 1964, when Hawking was in his second year at Cambridge, I, then at Birkbeck College in London, had established a mathematical theorem which showed on the basis of a few assumptions that a collapsing overmassive star would result in a singularity in space-time, a place where it would be expected that densities would become infinite, what we now refer to as a black hole. There, Einstein's classical theory of gravity, general relativity, would have reached its limits. Hawking had also been thinking about this kind of problem, and his supervisor Dennis Sharma made a point of bringing us together. It did not take Hawking long to find a way to use my theorem in an unexpected way, so that it could be applied in a time-reversed form to show that a Big Bang-type singularity was a necessary implication of Einstein's general relativity. A few years later, in 1970, he and I joined forces to publish an even more powerful theorem which showed how the black holes that we expect to find in nature conform to a specific geometry. Following this work, Stephen established some remarkable analogies between the behavior of black holes and the basic laws of thermodynamics, the science of heat and work. His research in classical general relativity was the best anywhere in the world at that time. Hawking then turned his attention to quantum effects in relation to black holes.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?